One. Hey, everybody, you are watching and listening to the We Are Rizin podcast. This is your host, Andrew Benjamin. I am joined by a very special guest with us. We have with us Spike Carlyle, who will be taking on Roberto Satoshi de Souza at Rizin 42 in a non-title fight. Spike, thank you so much for talking to us. I've been wanting to talk to you for a long time, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you for having me on, and stoked to enjoy this evening with you.
I ask right off the bat. You are
So,
facing top competition. You go from Koji Takeda, now you're going on to the champion Satoshi. What do you think about taking on the champion like this quickly on a
yeah,
non-title fight?
man, my last fight was against AJ McKee, another former world champion. So straight out of the frying pan, or what do they say? Out of I can't remember the saying. The
Out
little
of the
title.
frying pan and into the fire.
Yeah, out of the frying pan into the fire, baby. So from one world champion to the next, I'm excited. This is a world class matchup, and I'm ready to put on a world class performance.
Have you seen Satoshi? I'm actually speaking of AJ McKee. Did you see the fight between the two?
Oh yeah. I've been studying that fight a lot.
What is your thoughts on Satoshi's jiu-jitsu if you've seen his other matches? Like, where do you think that like ranks up among people in the lightweight division? Isn't it? Which I think he's maybe the best lightweight BJJ crossover fighter
Yeah,
in the lightweight
yeah,
division.
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think jujitsu and MMA is very good. Most guys, the highest levels are only like blue or purple belts. They're not extremely high level jujitsu guys. Obviously, he's a decorated black belt. So yeah, I definitely think he's heaps and bounds jujitsu wise above the majority of all lightweight fighters.
You don't think that'll have any? You don't think you'll be able to catch you with any of his sneaky submissions like he did Tofik? You know,
Yeah.
the guy who interrupted Tofik's huge winning streak. You don't think you're not worried about the
Yeah.
grappling at all?
I've never been submitted or knocked out my whole career. God willing, that will never happen. Um, and I've been training jujitsu for almost 15 years now. So um, I'm pretty got my submission defense at a very high level. I don't think unless I get lazy, I don't see any reason why I should get caught.
Actually, speaking of that, I always like to ask this. Yeah, you've lost 3 times, but never have been finished. And I'm curious. And I was there when you had at the fight. I think it was against Dan Moritz at
Mhm.
Mohegan Sun. I think that's the fight
Yeah,
I'm thinking of. And
yeah,
I
yeah,
was your resolve and resilience in the toughest of times and being dragged into deep waters is really, really high. Like, what do you credit to being like if you're in a bad situation in a fight, able to turn around and just kind of get out of such dangerous situations?
yeah. Well, Chael Sonnen, he grew up on the mean streets of Westland, Oregon. I grew up on the mean streets of Carmel Valley, so it was it was rough out there too, man. No, no, in all honesty, just I think I've always had a strong heart in all sports I've played. I've always been a competitor, a go-getter, and I have to keep that. I think also it's a mentality to know that you might get your butt kicked for 12, 13 minutes, but it can switch like that. So just keeping the not quitting is one of the biggest things. So always allowing yourself to stay in the fight, finding a way to stay in the fight, because all it takes is one split second and you can turn it around.
So how do you see this fight with Satoshi going? How do you see this fight going in your favor?
Yeah, I don't like to give away battle plans or strategies, but
Of course.
the way I see it going is it's just a long, uncomfortable night, or it's a swift, decisive night for me. Either long and uncomfortable for Satoshi or swift and decisive for me. I think we all know what his game plan should be, which is to try to take me down, is to use his jujitsu skills he's trained his life for, and ideally, I'm not going to let that happen. And if it does happen, I'm ready to go there as well.
What about the striking? Because when he started as an MMA fighter, or at least in Rizin, his striking was definitely not well, it was not a high level, but it has gotten better significantly
Yeah.
since he first started. And he's now they now have John. I think Johnny Case now is helping with his striking.
Yeah.
Is that at all a factor? Do you think? Do you think that his striking is going to be able to match up? He's going to be able to go toe to toe with you?
Um, we'll see. We'll see. Let's see him try that. That would be interesting because, yeah, I don't think most people who try to strike with me end up making it through the fight. So,
Mhm. And so, I mean, I know you don't want to give away battle plans. I also probably guess you don't want to give away any special entrance, but do you have something special planned for your
oh
walkout?
yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. I got a good one for this one. I can't wait. So, it's gonna be another spectacular walkout entrance.
Now, of course, if you beat him, I mean, I guess the obvious fight that you probably want next is a rematch, title shot against him. Is that something that would be what you would want immediately?
Yeah, I wish this one was for the title, but I understand Rizin's point of view. This is only my second fight in the promotion. There's not a huge storyline there. So once I decimate Satoshi, we definitely have to have a rematch for the world title. So but I'm just staying focused on May 6th. I can't. I've always was already thinking, oh, well, what if blah, blah, blah. So it's just got to bring myself back to reality, and every day has enough of its anxieties of its own. So let's just stay healthy, get to the fight in best condition possible, and have the best performance possible.
Speaking of thinking, I always like to ask MMA fighters, like, how do you mentally prepare for a fight? Physically, you kind of know the whole story for most fighters. It's the same, but for different fighters, they some do it just like differently mentally. Like, how do you prepare mentally for a fight?
Yeah. I've worked with like people in the past that like do meditative things and kind of like quote unquote hypnosis. It's not really hypnosis, it's more like meditation, visualization practices. So I do meditate quite often, I do visualize quite often. Um, I play chess. I think that helps a lot, keep me mentally sharp. But more so than anything, it's a weird sport because you have to be confident enough to believe that you can defeat anyone in the world, yet humble enough to know that all it takes is one shot and that could be it for you. So it's a weird space to dangle. And obviously, some days you feel like you're the best in the world, you're smashing everyone in the gym. Then the next day, you don't know what the heck's going on. Like, oh man, I suck. So there is a lot of mental battles going on. So um, for me personally, I know it works as a lot of prayer and knowing who God says I am and trusting in that. And I read the Bible, every day, and that's where I get my source of strength and inspiration and character from. Is from God's words, not this world's or my own thinking that can be corrupted at times.
I know you are a man of faith. You talk about it a lot in interviews. Is there a specific I know that some fighters will tend to reread a passage from like the Bible before a fight or something like that. Do you have something like that where you say a prayer or do you read something before a fight from the Bible? Is that all part of your pre-fight ritual?
Yeah, I'm always praying before my fights and meditating, like I said, and um, I don't have like a specific a Bible verse that I go to every time. But there's so many good ones that I could just have off the top of my head that I repeat to myself, and so I wouldn't say there's like one specific one that I have to read every time, but there is multiple that I do draw upon just from memory.
I've always noticed that it's interesting that a lot of people that are religious go into fighting. Why do you think that there's a big connection between people who are religious and who go into MMA?
Yeah. So let me share the one of the Bible verses that came to my head, if you don't mind.
Okay, yeah, sure, go ahead.
I believe it's Exodus 14:14 or it's maybe in Exodus 12, but it says, "Be silent and let the Lord fight for you." And that's one I really like because for me, being silent means getting out of my own way when I fight. You know, when you start thinking or you know, you think, you hesitate, you die type thing. So being silent to me is kind of getting out of my own way and letting God's Holy Spirit flow through me so I can fight at the optimum level. So that's like one Bible verse I love is, you know, just trusting in the process, trusting in God to take over and get you there. As far as why do I think religious or fighters get into MMA or religious people is I think it's if you read the Bible, what truly is happening right now is spiritual warfare. It talks about how there's a fight between light and darkness. I'm sure you've heard that term, like fight the good fight. And a lot of that fight, the real fight's in our brains. It's in everyone's heads. Everyone has to fight between, you know, how are they going, what are they going to do? Are they going to serve themselves, or are they going to choose themselves, or are they going to choose someone else? Are they going to love someone else? Or are they going to put others' needs before them? So there's always a struggle, a warfare going on. So I think a lot of religious people get into fighting because they're already fighting a spiritual battle. It just comes into the physical.
I do want to talk about a little bit about your first fight that you had in Rizin against Koji Takeda. What was an interesting fight is that first person to finish him, first person to submit him. But also after the fight, you two kind of became I think you kind of became friends. I think you trained at he came to your gym or you went to his gym. I can't remember the exact
he just left like a week ago. He came out to Thailand to train with me, one of my coaches. So
yes. That was it. Yes. So I mean, what is it? What about you two that just fighters? After the end of the day, they do their fights and then they never see each other again. But what about him? It was like, hey, you know what? Let's be Tomodachi. Let's be friends. Let's training with each other or something like that. What was it about him that I guess set him different from the rest?
Yeah, no, I think it's not to keep harping on it, but I believe it's a God thing. I really respect him. I think he's a modern day samurai to the T. I'm not sure if you saw his last fight, but he got dropped in the first round of his last fight, and 99% of all fighters would have quit. He powered through. He ended up winning the second round. He had a very tight third round. So the guy's just got a lion heart. So he's a stud, man, and hard worker. Like I said, we just got done training. He was right. We were pushing each other, so he was a complete blessing. And he has a beautiful, beautiful heart, beautiful spirit. That's, I think, what kind of drew us together. And we had a good moment after our fight. Stayed in contact, and it all worked out. And we were able to link back up.
So what is it like fighting? And you fought in UFC, you fought in Bellator. What is it about the Rizin atmosphere? Because I've heard you say that you love fighting in Japan, you love the culture. What is it about the atmosphere that just makes it so different and just, I don't want to say welcoming, because that's not the wrong, I know what I mean by welcoming, but that's not the term I'm trying to think of. But what that's just you get enveloped in, I guess I'll say.
Yeah. It is welcoming for sure. And I am enveloped in it. I think you've heard probably in other interviews, like fighting in Japan has been my dream since I was 15. So this is kind of who I made myself out to be, what I've sought my character out to be. I was doing funny walkouts or interesting walkouts when I was a young fighter, amateur fighter. So to have it amplified to this magnitude is the best. This is what made Japanese MMA the greatest, is the rule set, the fans, and the atmosphere. They really put on a show. I mean, what was so cool about the last event I competed for, Rizin, is they bring all the fighters out beforehand and they have like a huge ceremony. I think that's special. You know what I mean? So they just do things differently and do things better, in my opinion.
If you don't mind me asking, so I know this is your second fight in Rizin, but you haven't fought for Bellator since the AJ McKee fight. Is your Bellator? Are you still under contract with Bellator, or how's this whole thing between you and Rizin and Bellator? Yeah. How's that whole thing work out?
Yeah, so obviously Bellator has their lightweight tournament going on this year. My goal is to win a world title, and so I'm in Rizin now. As far as Bellator goes, I still have a good relationship with them. Technically, I still have a contract, but they know I want to fight in Japan right now. They know I'm gunning for that world title. So that's where my focus is. And obviously I got the fast track. I got the fast pass to become the #1 title contender May 6th. And that's what I plan on doing.
So if there is a Bellator Rizin show at the end of this year, like there was last year, I mean, I'm guessing if you had to choose, you'd probably be Team Rizin at this point.
Yeah, I think once I win that strap, let's fight the Bellator champ. In Rizin, I'll put the belt on the line under the Rizin rules. I like the rule set better for Japan. I like the ring better than the cage, especially against a lot of the wrestlers. They just base their whole strategy off just using the cage or whatever. So the ropes take that away.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask that. Like, what do you prefer as a fighter? Because I don't think how many times you probably fought under a cage? Probably 90% of your career, right? Maybe was Rizin the first time? Was Rizin the first time you were in the ring?
I've had some Muay Thai fights and a boxing fight and one MMA fight in a ring. So, but yeah, it wasn't like I was very familiar. That was a little getting used to. But I've been practicing, more in it, and it's interesting because the Rizin ring is not 4 ropes, it's 5, and they're not ropes, they're cables. They're very yeah, they're no joke. So it's kind of hard to recreate that environment. But as of now, I do prefer it. I've always never like I said, I've always envisioned myself of fighting in Japan in a ring. So I would always kind of avoid cage work or not base my strategies off the cage as an amateur and pro fighter in other organizations. Like so it's not. I don't really like the cage.
I know you did say that you want to become world champion this year, and then maybe defend against Bellator champion. But is the AJ McKee match? Would you still like to get that rematch potentially? Especially because listen, he could be the world champion by the end of the year as well. If he's successful in the tournament.
Yeah, I mean that's like I said, that's the goal. God willing, he wins the Bellator belt. I don't know if he will. There's a few guys in there that I think have a strong chance, but I'd love to rematch him. We can do it under the Rizin rule set, and I think something he did very well against when I fought him, and it was kudos to him, and also on my own end, I made some technical mistakes, especially against the cage. If you rewatch that fight, all his takedowns came against the cage. They didn't come out from the open, and he was good at using the cage to his benefit. So let's do it in a ring. Let's do it where I can knee him and kick him in the head if he misses a shot, and we'll see how that goes for him.
Who do you think right now is your favorite to win this Bellator tournament?
So I thought the strongest matchup was actually going to be between Tofik and Bleebly. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but I thought those were going to be the 2 guys to do it, and surprise Bellator matched them up so early. I think if they put him at the opposite end of the bracket, that's who we would have saw in the finals. So I don't know. We'll see. But I would lean a little bit towards Shablibli. I know Usman Nurmagomedov's in there. He's the current champ. I am not completely sold on him yet. I would say I don't think he's fought the stiffest competition. So I'm leaning towards Shablibli right now. But it's anyone. Crazy things. Anything can happen.
Hey, if it's up to you, hopefully you're praying that AJ McKee wins, because then if you win, then that just you have a beautiful story right there.
Yeah.
And for belts and all that stuff, and main event and all that stuff.
Even if he doesn't, bring him over. I'd love to run that back too.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. And so I was. Were you surprised to get this this offer so quickly? When they called you, when you saw the message from Rizin, were you probably think, it's gonna be fighting, one of the regular lightweight guys, but then you saw the name, it's like Satoshi already?
Yeah, for sure. I was a little bit taken aback. I thought I'd have to do at least 1 or 2 more before having the chance to fight the champ. So I think it was just a good timing thing, Obviously I had a not a great performance, but it was decent enough against AJ that, we went the distance. I won around. Satoshi had I think he did better than I did against AJ. and it was very close. I think maybe AJ edged it out, but it was still a very close fight. So I think this is the best matchup they could have made right now with the current landscape of guys. So this is going to be the best lightweight matchup in Rizin.
Actually, thank you. You answered a question I forgot to ask was who do you thought won between AJ and Satoshi? Because depending on how you look at fights, depending on I guess what your personal criteria is, some people thought AJ won, some people thought Satoshi won.
Yeah.
So you thought that AJ won it pretty like narrowly.
Yeah. When I first watched it, I thought Satoshi won actually. Then I rewatched it, and there was just a couple moments where AJ did a little more, landed the harder shots, did a little more damage, and like I said, it was a very close fight, but AJ did, I think, edge it out. So
That's so funny.
kudos to him too.
That was my exact thing. Is that first time I watched it, I was like Satoshi won. Why did they get the AJ? And I watched it back. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, I could kind of see why. I get it.
Yeah.
And so I know you're training in Thailand right now. Is that your main base of operations now? Do you plan to come back to the US to train back in California? How's that whole thing going to be working out?
Yeah, we'll see. I really like it out here in Thailand. It's very nice. It's very affordable. A lot of high level guys, high level training out here. I brought one of my coaches out here actually with me, so he's been out here with me since December. So we've just been putting in work and learning new things, training with new people, making beautiful relationships. So I could definitely see myself, especially since if I'm fighting in Japan, it's only a 2-hour time difference. That's another big thing. Coming from the States all the way to Japan, I have to get there weeks in advance. So I definitely see myself coming back out to Thailand to do some more training. But yeah, I have a great team also back in the States. So best of both worlds.
So actually, I'm curious to know. So since you are doing training in Thailand, what is like the grappling and BJJ aspect of it like? Because we think of Thailand as like Muay Thai, kickboxing. So when you like, is it a case where like I guess maybe when it comes to grappling, are you just destroying everybody because of your grappling background, or is it, or do we not know that Thailand has some sort of like secret BJJ background that they never talk about?
Yeah, no, I think it's the grappling here is starting to really develop in Thailand. You're seeing a lot more fighters come out here and do their camps, and I have a friend who fights for PFL, Bubba Jenkins, and he fought a guy named Brendan Loftnow or whatever. He did his camp out here in Thailand, and Bubba's D1 All-American wrestler champion. Brendan, some Englishman who shouldn't be able to wrestle, and he did pretty good with his anti-grappling, anti-wrestling, and he did his camp out here in Thailand. So the grappling is definitely getting to a high level. I also want to shout out Phuket Grappling Academy. One of my coaches, Ben Royal, will be in my corner. He's also an MMA fighter. He's fought for one. But I met him back in 2017, and I think we were both purple belts then. And he kind of focused more on jiu-jitsu. He started his own gym, which is Phuket Grappling Academy. And he hasn't been as active in the MMA scene, but it's unbelievable how good this guy's grappling is getting, and his jiu-jitsu and the culture he's brought around him. So they're like all they do is specialize in no-gi. They have a D1 All-American wrestling coach. Obviously, he does the jiu-jitsu. So the grappling here is world-class. I've trained all around the world. They can hang with anyone.
Do you think that Thailand's now is the best kept secret that's going to be in a few years? We're going to see all the MMA fighters start to go, the American MMA fighters just start to go to, I just say just American, but non-Asian MMA fighters going to come to Thailand to do the training, to do their camps, because like I said, it's affordable. Sounds like they're expanding upon grappling. Obviously, the kickboxing there is world class. Do you think that's going to be the trend in potentially a few years?
Man, I mean, I've already seen it. It was crazy being out here, like I said, since December, January and February is especially, they call it the high season. I had never seen so many Russians. a lot of Dagestanis, a lot of Chechens. Kamzat was out here with his camp. Peter Yan's out here. Rafael Faziv. So there's I met a ton of Dagestan warriors. So there's a lot of foreigners fighting all over the world at high levels here.
That would be interesting to see Dagestanis trained in Thailand.
Yeah,
That is something I would like to see the inverse, that seeing Thais go to Dagestan to train with
yeah.
Dagestanis. Oh
There you
man,
go.
that sounds really fun. But so whenever you're not fighting, what do you like to do in your free time? Like what does Spike Carlyle do to just, I guess, say, as they say, shoot the shit, shoot my language.
Yeah, no problem. To shoot the shit, what do I like to do? Oh, I love fishing. I'm a big, my pops lives in Mexico. So I like to go fishing with him. Deep sea fishing's fun. Like I said earlier, I play a lot of chess. Um, Taking a bit of a hiatus, but I usually love watching anime and stuff like that. I love reading. I'm always into the Bible or spiritual books or martial arts books or even fantasy books. And I love being in nature. Like I said, I don't really like the city, so trying to do more camping and things like that. So I'm like a wannabe cowboy sometimes.
Actually, yes, I remember that you have talked about your love of anime. I was going to ask if there's any anime recommendations that you have
Oh yeah.
for people that I don't know, is there any under the radar animes that you would recommend?
Oh yeah. For you specifically or just the general population?
Oh, well, let's go, Bob. I'm part of the general public. Listen, when it comes to anime, I know I go like, oh, you mean like Attack on Titan? So like I like
Yeah.
if there's anything that's like not like on that
Yeah.
level, like yeah, by all means, feel free to recommend.
Yeah. Well, if you want to learn how to box, you watch Hajime no Ippo.
Oh yes, yes, Hajime no Ippo. Yes, that one's
Yeah.
quite well known.
Yeah.
Uh, but any other ones?
Yeah, there's quite a few. Obviously, Baki's like staple. I thought I was Baki for the longest time growing up. Now I've turned more into Yujiro, that my hair's long and I'm starting to get older. So now I'm more of Yujiro. Um, the anime is okay, but the manga is good. I don't read too much manga, but Berserk is really a gnarly one.
Hmm.
Some people might not know about that one. That's a good one. But yeah, I would say if you like fighting animes, Hajime no Ippo and Baki are awesome.
And as somebody who is a chess fan, I got of course ask: have you watched or have you seen any episodes of The Queen's Gambit?
No, I haven't. I have to watch that. Even my mom's like,
Ah,
"Oh,
damn it!
watch that."
I was gonna ask more questions if you had seen that. Okay, but that goes about 5 or 6 questions I was gonna ask.
Okay, my bad.
Um, let's see. Did you play chess in high school? Did you play chess in college? Or how did that chess? How did you become a fan of chess?
Yeah, I played chess with my I think in like second grade I was part of the chess club or whatever, elementary school, but then I would always play with my dad. Um, we'd either be wrestling or playing chess at night, so I'd get whooped on in both. So
Hmm.
so I think
Have
that's
you
why I got better.
have you seen the I think it's what is it, chess boxing thing? I think it was from France
Yeah,
or Russia or something, where you
yeah,
make a move and you just punch your opponent
yeah.
or something or whatever.
Put
What do you
me
think of
in.
yeah, what do you think of just like this? There's now almost like this craze to make MMA or fighting kind of, I'll say, meme worthy. So like we got slap fight, we got that, you
Yeah.
got what's the one where they go in the car and they just walk in the car and they just like the grappling or
Oh
like
gosh.
beat each other
Yeah.
up. Like, what do you think
Yeah.
of this from when you started till now? What do you think of this old trend? Do you like this trend? Is it kind of but ridiculous, or does it maybe
Yeah.
even offend you?
Yeah, I'm a bit disgusted by a lot of it. I think that slap fighting thing is just CT city. I don't like that. Then like that phone booth and car stuff, it's really goofy. Chess boxing though, that's a gentleman's sport in my opinion. We can I approve of that one. That's a cool concept.
Okay, gotcha. Um, and I know you're in Phuket. Did you happen to see the fight circus show that just happened?
No, I didn't. I didn't. I know, I know those things are funny, man. I have a couple people I know around here who participated in those, and those are wild. So they're starting to get very popular.
Oh yes, listen. I think if Fight Circus and Rizin ever did a co-collab, I think that would be the perfect show for you.
Yeah,
You could that would definitely be the show that Spike Carlyle could be either MC or be the main event for.
cool. Do both
Uh,
probably.
so before you go, I just want to give you an opportunity. Do you have any if you want to give a shout out to your sponsors, social media? Yeah, anything else you want to say about the fight? The floor is yours.
Just tune in. Thank you so much, Andrew, for having me. I know May 6th, 2023. Fun fact, that's the night I become a man. I turn 30. So it's destiny. I'm gonna win this one. So can't wait. And Satoshi, train hard, but not that hard. Have a bad night's rest. And I hope you feel like junk on the night of our fight.
And so if you could see Satoshi and Spike Carlyle face off at Rizin 482 May 6th. Hopefully it'll be on Fight, but we'll know probably as we get quicker. And yeah, again, Spike, thank you so much for your time, man. Been wanting to talk to you for a long time, and really looking forward to this fight, man. It's I guess we have a friend. I have a friend named Jay, and I guess we could call this the people's main event, and I think this definitely will be the people's main event of the show.
Thank you, brother. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Andrew.